Hey, how you doing, superhumans? Welcome back to our new lecture. And in this lecture, we will be discussing about another type of ICMP message, that is destination unreachable message. As is the keyword destination unreachable, self-explanatory that there is a source and this is the destination, and in the journey there are certain nodes R1, R2, R3. These nodes are nothing but the routers, but they can be switches as well. Over here in our example, these are the routers. Now let's say I am sending some packet from the source to the router R1, then to the router R2, and then to the router R3. And at router R3, this packet got discarded. This IP packet got discarded. IP discarded because of some reason. Now there can be a lot of reasons for the discarding of this packet. One of the reasons could be that there is a hardware failure at router R3 or the following routers. Let's say there is another router R4, and at router R4 there is a hardware failure. So the message would be going from R1 to R. Ideally, the message should have gone like this. From S to R1, then R2, then R3, then R4, and then D. Now, at the time when the IP packet has reached the router R3, it finds that router R4 has failed, that the hardware of the router R4 has failed. Then it can also say that this is the destination unreachable, and it will send an ICMP message to the sender that the destination is unreachable. Or another reason could be that the communication with the destination network is prohibited. For example, that after router R3, there is a network over which an R4 is also belonging to that network. This is network N1, and this complete thing is network N2. And let's say that the message from R3 had to now go to router R4, and router R4 belongs to the network N1. Since the communication to this network N1 is prohibited right now, so we can say that router R4 won't be able to send the message any further. In this case also, the router R3 is going to send an ICMP message telling that the destination is unreachable. Or it could be a case that the final host is unreachable because the administrator of that host has put certain restrictions on the host to not communicate at this particular point of time. So now, even let's say that the packet is not getting discarded at this point by router R3. Let's say the packet has reached router R4. From R3 it has reached R4. Now at R4, since the packet cannot reach any further because there is a problem with the host, because the administrator has put on certain restrictions on the host, so we can say that router R4 is going to send an ICMP message back to the sender, telling the sender that the destination is unreachable. Now there are certain points that I would like you to know about this destination unreachable ICMP message. Those points are that the type of ICMP packet which is carrying the destination unreachable message is type 3, and the codes for this type of message can be from 0 to 15, and then there is checksum as is there in every ICMP packet. Then the code 2 and code 3, the ICMP packets containing these code 2 and code 3 can only be created by the host when the packet reaches over here, and the codes other than code 2 and code 3 can be generated by any of the routers, but only by the routers. Codes from, let's say, 0, 1, then from 2, 3 can be generated only by the host, then from 4 to 15. These all codes could be generated by only the routers. Now, there are certain points that you should be remembering about the ICMP. Those things are: no ICMP does not mean that the IP packet has delivered. This means that if this is the source, this is the destination, and let's say this is router R2, this is router R1, and they are in the Ethernet network. Now, because of some reason, let's say The packet has got, this as sender who is sending the packet got discarded by the router R3 at this point, and this is in the Ethernet network. Now R3 won't be sending any ICMP message back to the sender through the router R2 and then R1 and then R3. The reason for that is, in the in the Ethernet network, there is no concept of the acknowledgement mechanism. There is no concept of ICMP in the Ethernet network. This you need to remember. With this, I end this particular lecture of the destination unreachable ICMP message. So what we have covered over here is these three important points. And with this, bye.